So can you talk for a few minutes? I'll make sure I'm getting you here.
Life
okay.
is...
Cool. That's all. You can shut up now.
I got out almost 3 words.
Clear the air lanes for the big broadcast.
We're not professional podcasters.
Say what?
We barely know what we're doing.
It's funny because it's true.
But we have fun anyway.
I'm here to podcast.
Does everybody know what time it is?
We're going streaky! Yeah!
No, we're not. It's time for movies, pop culture, and more with the all-new Culture Cast, starting now. I'm Nick.
And I'm Jen.
And this is the all-new Culture Cast. I am back after a considerable length of time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was not on your Game of Thrones one a couple weeks back. And life's been busy for, I think, everyone involved for the most part.
Absolutely. But to be fair, you also don't watch Game of Thrones.
True. I guess my thing was more in reference of how before Game of Thrones we hadn't done, I think, an episode in a month, maybe 2 months. I'm not sure how that all falls together, but it had been a while. So
it had been a while. But, I think the fans understand that we're busy, exciting summer people.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I would hope so. They hit us up on the Twitters and the Facebooks and the Tinders.
Sure.
And
I just assume we have fans. Are we not doing this for any particular reason?
Oh yeah, we have fans, hundreds, thousands. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. We're bigger than Nerdist and NPR combined. Well, I guess today we are going to be talking... Oh, yeah, I should mention Gorehound's not here today because apparently he had something better to do being out of town.
I heard a rumor that they were... that he is chasing down that guy from... oh, God, what's that show that films in Chicago for 2 weeks a year? Oh,
Shameless?
Shameless. I was about to call it Suburgatory, and that's not right. Suburgatory. That's not right either. But anyway, no. So he cannot chase that guy down.
His man crush of the week, that's like the same guy 9 weeks in a row.
Although, last week it was somebody different.
I heard it was it Luke Cage?
I was so impressed. Also, I don't remember specifically. I just remember that I was sitting here like, oh, I know what he's going to say. And then he didn't.
So Gorehound is out today. He'll be back maybe next week. I don't know. I have no idea what we're doing from week to week now. But we're going to be talking about the TV show Riverdale, which is the Archie Comics CW teen noir show that's been getting some buzz lately. And by lately, I mean when it first premiered 8 months ago. But
right.
Details. The second season, I guess, is starting up within a month's time. So This is the perfect opportunity for us to chat about what happened before. But before we get into that, I guess we should do one of our regularly scheduled topics. What have you been watching?
What have you been watching?
Oh. Thor and I went last night to go see It.
How is it? No pun intended.
I mean, that could be a whole podcast. I never saw the original. I know a lot of people were highly traumatized by it. I was very
it's not
busy.
Very good.
I think
the original one. I don't know
right.
about the new one. The new one, I've been hearing some good buzz.
Yeah, no, definitely. But the original, I think, is, I think for a lot of people our age, it came at a time when a movie didn't have to be very good to be very scary. So
Fair
people
enough.
who are our age back when it came out were probably like, this is sort of dumb. But people who are our age were all, 8. And we're like, this is the scariest thing. I can never look at clowns again,
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my impression. I think this one was genuinely pretty chilling. I think they did a lot of great jump scares. They cut some of the very weird shit from the book, which I've never read the book either. I've read some Stephen King, but I feel like I read a lot of his like earlier stuff, and I haven't read past the point at which I think his editors stopped trying. Because apparently in the book, there's a scene where, like, I mean, I don't think I'm spoiling anything to say that, like, the book doesn't end with the evil clown winning at everything. So, at that point, they've, like, had a big battle, one of the two big battles with the clown, and then the 11-year-olds all have sex to get out of a tunnel.
Yeah, I heard about that. There's a teenage gangbang in the movie.
No, a preteen. So this is not in the movie.
Oh yeah, preteen.
Thank God.
How weird would that have been? How awkward would that have been if that was in the movie?
It would be horrifying. Like, just reading about it on the way home from the movie. So we, like, went to Walgreens, on the way home to pick up some stuff, and I'm, like, sitting in the car while Thor's in the Walgreens, and I'm reading about this book, and at first I'm just, terrified that a murder clown is going to get me, right? And then as I'm reading about this, I'm like, no, I feel much, much more unsafe about the fact that, like, a fully grown adult man wrote this into a book. And I guess it's very weird because one of the characters in the book, like, because in the book, the story takes place, like, half the story takes place when they're kids and half of it takes place when they're adults, which is why they're splitting the It movie into two parts.
Mm-hmm.
So half of it takes place when they're adults. One of the characters grows up to be Stephen King, basically, right? It's like a big self-insert character of this guy who, like, writes horror novels and has a hot wife. And so he's one of the, like, 11-year-olds who has the weird gangbang. I have some questions.
Did this happen to him?
I mean, I'd believe it, given the murder clown. Like, the fact that he looked and he said, what would be scary? What if I put in a murder clown? There was also, I guess, in the book something about, like, a magic turtle. That did not go into the movie, which probably was for the better. Like, just in terms of things I think audiences are going to appreciate. I feel like scary clown, yeah, we're into it. Big magic turtle, maybe less so. I did think the movie was pretty good. Like, I think it really managed to capture a feeling of, like, kids in the summer, while still being, like, deeply unsettling and having both kind of balancing, like, the supernatural aspect with the fact that, like, that adults are not always the adults in your life do not always have your best interest at heart, which, can be just as scary. So I think it was a very good movie. I'm, based on what I've read of the book, I'm not entirely clear how the sequel will be, but I will say I think that it is a interesting movie to go see in theaters.
I do want to check it out. I don't know if I'll be able to see it in theaters, but it does look pretty entertaining, and I'd always like a good scary movie around Halloween time. So,
what about you? What have you been watching?
Well, as you know, I've recently moved, and
yes.
Our house has been a disaster zone for the past a couple weeks, not month, but couple three weeks or so, which we're getting slowly put together. So I've not had a chance to really watch a lot. But what I have been checking out is I broke down and finally decided to watch The Iron Fist on Netflix.
Okay.
I don't know why I was possessed to watch it, because really I didn't. I struggled through Luke Cage. I couldn't make it past an episode of Daredevil. And Jessica Jones, I just did not have any interest in that. But so the Marvel Netflix stuff, I'm not as taken with it as the way the rest of the world is. But I'm like, all right, let me go check out Iron Fist, because part of me is curious about the Defenders. So I'm about midway through it at this point. I don't see why everyone was hating on it so much. I mean, it's not like award-winning good, but it's not nearly as odious as people are making it out to be. Did you watch The Iron Fist?
I never did. I watched Jessica Jones, and we started, Thor and I started Luke Cage, but he has, not Luke, Thor has the attention span of a sugar high puppy, so we never finished it, and I kind of It's one of those situations where once you start something with someone, you feel guilty to finish it without them, even though I'm sure he would never notice. Right now I know The Defenders just came out. A lot of people, a lot of friends I have that watch a lot of TV enjoyed it, but I have not engaged at all.
Are you talking about Defenders or Iron Fist?
I never watched Iron Fist, and I have not seen The Defenders, but a lot of people really seem to like. In my experience, everyone seems to hate Iron Fist, and most people seem to like The Defenders. But gotcha. That's just based on what people are posting on Facebook.
That's pretty much what I've been watching.
All right. So. Do you have your man crush of the week to make up for the lack of Gorehound?
I do not have a man crush of the week. That is Gorehound's beat. I do not entrench on that. Do you have a man crush of the week?
Oh no. My woman crush of the week, definitely watching Hillary Clinton as she goes on podcasts and different things and is talking about her book. And I think it's always interesting when you see someone who has held herself in such a political sphere for her whole life, or at least my whole life, to always see her kind of thinking through everything she says in a way that, implies she knows people are watching and are going to quote her back later. As and now having reached a point where she's not going to run for office anymore, and she doesn't have to weigh what she says as carefully. It's been kind of interesting to watch that and to listen to her on some various podcasts. She's been on Pod Save America. She's been on Vox. She has her own podcast that she used in the run up to the election, and then released an episode post book. So anyway, I've listened to her on a couple different podcasts, and it's just been really interesting to see her having a much more free expression of her own actual feelings.
How she blames everyone except herself.
I really think that's a false narrative.
I'm just needling you because I saw your discussion with a mutual friend of ours on Facebook. But
like I said, I've been listening to her on podcast this week, and it has been very nice to hear from her again. So she is my woman crush of the week.
We should get her on this podcast.
Absolutely. If she would agree to it, and I think we have the numbers to back it up. I think we've got obviously. The audience. I think we've got.
If she wants to really connect with the average person, this would be the perfect show for her.
Right. I mean, youth. They love this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, they say she didn't get the millennial vote, so we could help bridge that gap, heal some wounds.
Anyway, so we should talk about our main topic.
Yes, we should. Which is the CW mega hit Riverdale. Is it a mega hit? I think it got good ratings. It
was on the cover of, I believe, Entertainment Weekly,
that doesn't mean anything though.
Well, fair enough, but I'm just saying it was. It's definitely something that feels hotly anticipated by me, certainly. So, but certainly by mainstream press is certainly paying a lot of attention to a CW show, which is always interesting. So,
well, I think some of that has to do with the fact that it is basing itself on the pop culture icons of Archie and the gang, which have been around for 70 some odd years, maybe. I think it started in the 40s or so. And surprisingly, outside of, not counting cartoons, there has never really been an ongoing television series, to my knowledge anyway, of Archie. I think there were
there was a movie.
There was a TV movie back in 1990, Riverdale and Back Again, or To Riverdale and Back Again, or something like that, which depicted
supposedly terrible.
Yes, TV movie terrible, which depicted the Archie and the gang as adults and with their own kids, and hijinks ensue. It was supposed.
Oh, no one asked for that.
It was supposed to be a backdoor pilot, which was never picked up. But yeah, there hadn't been any television series, which boggles my mind because I figure, given the central premise of every Archie comic, which is Archie has two girls that are into him, and he can't choose between the two of them. Who doesn't have that problem, right? That's like the perfect formula for a CW/WB type show. All of the things like your Dawson's Creek. Remember that, kids?
Absolutely.
And that show that kicked off that whole subgenre. All those tropes originate. Maybe not originate, but were popularized by the old Archie stuff. So I'm surprised they hadn't took until 2017 for something to get made with that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a moldable sort of property, where it's, you don't need a ton of, I mean, you can have, but you don't need a ton of character work to get people to identify these characters. They're such classics, but they're also something you could update, you could change around a bit. And as long as, they have their broad strokes characterizations, you're not going to need to, it's not quite like placing, Elizabeth Bennet on the moon or something, you can do, the characters are less about, you can just have them be in a small town and it counts, you don't need to go too crazy with character work more than necessary. So anytime you've got those kind of moldable, but iconic characters, so I agree with you. It's very interesting that they haven't done more with the property outside of the comics.
What are your initial, having watched the first season, what was your initial reaction to it?
I thought it was great fun. I could understand people not liking it, but I think...
Oh, we'll get into that.
Right. I
have lots of thoughts on that.
Sure. I think going into it with the expectation that, again, I think these characters are kind of ripe for being molded into a more contemporary setting because they are more archetype than character. I think a teen mystery series is just fun. I think that can be a lot of fun, and I think it's kind of, for me, hits a nice balance of kind of mundane teen drama with mysterious maple themed murders. So, I went in kind of expecting it to be what it was, and then it was, and I was delighted.
So you got what you wanted out of it.
Absolutely. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on what you think of it, but I also want to know, because when I first brought it up, I definitely did not get the impression you were chomping at the bit to watch it. So I'm kind of curious what made you decide to watch it in the end.
It was on Netflix, and I needed something to have on in the background while I packed.
Sure. And
I figured, well, why not? It's here. I'll check it out. I could binge watch. It's only 13 episodes, so, why not? So I wasn't really against the show. I wasn't really going out of my way to see it either. It just kind of happened, and I'm one of those people, and I guess this kind of ties back into Iron Fist, interestingly enough, is that when everyone says, I don't like this, I haven't seen it yet, but I hate it, to me that says, all right, I'm going to go and see that movie, and I'm going to probably enjoy it. I'm going to go out of my way to check it out because it has too much unreasonable hate going towards it. So I have this weird white knight-ish sort of thing to go to bat for projects that are unfairly maligned even before they even get aired.
And if there's one thing that I think in this world you want to, use that sort of energy for, it's definitely to save Hollywood. Mm-hmm.
Well, fair point. I can't defend that, but Yeah, so I liked the show. I thought it was fun. I may have liked it a little bit better when it was called Veronica Mars, but I liked it. I mean, I liked the little being the comic book nerd. I never really watched or read a lot of Archie or anything, but I know enough through pop culture, and I like the little references they throw in there. Sure. But it was a fun show. I mean, I enjoyed it.
I am so pleased to hear that.
Oh yeah? Well, why is that? Did you think I was going to like rip it to shreds or something?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I liked it. I do want to check out the new season. I'm half tempted to wait until it hits Netflix to binge it again because I kind of like doing that. But or I guess I could record it on my DVR and watch it in bursts. But I don't know. We'll see.
Who was your favorite character? Whose journey did you appreciate the most?
I don't know. I think they all added something to the show. I almost liked. It's funny. The show's about Archie and his friends, but I think I was more invested in Luke Perry and his shenanigans. I don't know why. The adults were more interesting. Probably because they were more messed up, and it just made them. And they weren't on the screen as much, so they used them just right.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of like that.
All the parents, I feel like, were very well cast. Like,
I especially like Jughead's dad.
Yeah.
They look like they could be related. That was like Luke Perry and what's it, AJ something or other, whoever played Archie. Yeah, I will.
AJ guy with abs.
Yeah, AJ Appa. There we go. Hey, abs.
Sure.
There you go. Like they look nothing alike. Which thankfully they brought in Molly Ringwald, who says, okay, maybe she could be his mother. But yeah, what character did you like the best?
Oh, if I had to pick a favorite, I would definitely say Cheryl Blossom, which is absolutely nuts, and I love her so much. But if I had to pick my favorite adult, I'd definitely say it was Betty's mom, Alice. Who kind of starts the show and is mildly scary, but then towards the end is just like, breaking into the school and going to the school newspaper and just, seemed to be having the most fun as an adult. So I loved her a lot. And I think she was very well cast. She was in the original Twin Peaks, and they definitely like patterned the show after Twin Peaks. So not that I have ever watched Twin Peaks, but I just thought that's a fun fact. That's cool. That's a good use of people. They definitely went for people among the parent set who like epitomized the 90s. So it's like they knew exactly what they were doing when they cast the show. To have right.
The show's very well cast. I was not the biggest fan of Cheryl Blossom, and I don't blame the actress. I just thought the character was a little too obnoxious, which I guess she was supposed to be. So I don't know if I should be upset at that.
Maybe that's why I loved her.
Fair enough.
I mean, also it was the red lipstick. Like I don't know what lipstick she had. I've been trying to figure it out. It's obviously. Oh, so if you didn't watch this live, which I did, one thing that you missed was that the show was definitely sponsored by CoverGirl. So sometimes, on top of just characters holding up their makeup in ways that people generally don't when they're not being filmed. But when you were watching it live, they would have they'd like go straight into commercial or, and it would just be all of a sudden it would be Betty or Josie or, and they just like show how they transformed them from the actress to their character using CoverGirl products. And it was so weird. It was in honor of the fact that we were going to do this. I went and rewatched the first 4 episodes again.
Oh, wow. More power to you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, it was Monday. You got to do something on Monday.
Well, clearly. And 4 hours of Riverdale. Why not?
Absolutely. And it was, I think, anytime you go back and rewatch something, you pick up on stuff you didn't pick up on. So I think it was very interesting. In the first episode, you don't see Jughead. So Jughead is the one doing the terrible 16-year-old writer voiceovers, which like I really enjoy because they're exactly what I picture a 16-year-old boy like narrating.
Let's back something up here.
What,
a
sure.
16-year-old pretentious boy.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You have to have that because it's so like no 16-year-old would actually talk like this unless they were trying to make a point to talk like this.
Right, because there's a 16-year-old boy who also believes himself to be a writer. Who's going to like reveal the secrets of the small town. But so everything that happened there just like made total sense to me. But so in the first episode, which I thought was really interesting on the rewatch, you don't actually see Jughead until the last like 5 minutes of the episode.
Right.
Which is also, of the series, you see everybody else. And rewatching, like it's not that I, didn't miss him, but it was interesting to see that they kind of held him back as if he was, a special reveal. And I do think that he was probably, I would say Jughead was probably like a fan favorite, just based off of things I see on the internet. Because the kind of people who comment on TV shows about teenagers who also are in some sort of Twin Peaks murder plot are also the kind of people who probably also were pretentious 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Whereas, when I would watch, one of the things that I liked best, and this definitely you don't see quite as much at the beginning, but Veronica has this absolutely ridiculous wardrobe no teenage girl has, because her first scene, or her second scene, I guess, the one where she goes and picks up burgers from Pops, she's wearing a cape, and it is like August, and I'm just like, I don't know what this is about, but I am here for it. And then the rest of her wardrobe is like 95% cocktail dresses. And Veronica, I am here from the future to tell you there are just not as many opportunities to wear cocktail dresses as you may think there are.
I will say, I think Veronica might have been my favorite teen character.
Oh, definitely, sure.
But I think that's kind of just a callback to her comic book counterpart.
Sure.
She comes from that fancy world, so she always has the pearls on and the fine jewelry, and every hair is just perfect. I mean, more so for a CW TV show. But yes, I totally see what you're saying.
It was delightful to watch. One of the things I'm looking forward to with season 2 definitely is supposedly Reggie as a character got cut back from the original script because the guy who played him was on 13 Reasons Why. So
okay, see,
yeah.
I noticed that they had a lot with him at the beginning of the season with his romance or his hookups with was he the one hooking up with Kevin? Or was that a different character?
That was Moose.
That's right, it was Moose. Reggie was the one who
Asian dude bro, who is on the football team.
He got suspended, right? Or
no,
is he
that
the
was
one
Chuck
who was...
Clayton.
Okay, man, all these...
Chuck Clayton is like, I think he's a newer character. I did not like read the comics obsessively or anything, but it was definitely like if I was in line at the grocery store, that's the one I would pick up to like read.
Thumb through.
Yeah, so
Reggie was the one who was in competition with Archie for the team captain.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So Reggie, and in the comic books, Reggie is like a pretty big character. But so I guess the actor was not able to be on the show as much because he got cast in this other show. And so now, because that show got renewed, 13 Seasons Why, although, I mean, I never watched it, but I read the book. I'm not really sure how you're going to do a second season of that, but regardless.
She made more tapes that were found.
Who knows? But so he's out. They recast the role, so I'm hoping.
Oh, they did.
They did, yeah, and they did. One of the things
did they recast him with another Asian guy.
They did, and actually, the actor who played him originally, like, recorded a video. This was announced like at the very end of the season. Had a video where he was like, "I'm really glad to see that they didn't, recast him as a white dude," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm glad to see it too." But so I'm hoping we see more of him in season 2.
Yeah, that would be good, because he seemed like, I mean, again, I didn't follow the Archie comics, but, like, the little that I knew just from pop culture osmosis, like, Reggie seemed to be, like, you had the 4 main characters, and then you had, like, the supporting cast, and he was always part of that reoccurring supporting cast.
Exactly. Yeah, he's very big from the comics, and just to have somebody who's often like sole job is to antagonize Archie, um, which of course means I delight him. I delight in him. Like having read the comics a little bit as a kid, I always liked him because Archie, anytime a character just seems to have the world at his feet, and you're just like, I don't think that two beautiful women should be chasing you around based on your looks and also your personality, so like anytime somebody could take him down a peg or two, I was like, yeah, that's what I want. I want someone to be mean to Archie for no reason.
So, speaking about being mean to Archie,
Sure.
Let's go and talk a little bit about the controversy that was leading up to this show. So, when this show was first announced, the hardcore Archie fans, which apparently they exist, who knew?
It's hardcore any fan.
Yeah, they always come out of the woodwork. Were super mad and super upset that they were making an Archie show that was dark and it was gritty,
Sure.
and that all the characters are going to be like sexy heartthrobs and this and that and this, and they were so upset that it was going to be dark and a murder. They're killing Jason Blossom. How dare they do that to such a iconic character? I didn't know who the hell Jason Blossom was until I read about this show, and I don't think he's that iconic of a character. But
No.
that's besides the point. And like the fans were going like batshit nuts over it, how much they like this is a travesty. But here is the rub: is that within the last decade, the Archie comics have really been experimenting with new things. They've had, their standard Archie comic, but they've had some spin-off lines. Like they've had, I think, one comic called Life with Archie, which depicted his like adult life. They've had they have a ongoing comic called Afterlife with Archie, which depicted Archie and the gang facing off a zombie apocalypse.
Sure.
They've had Archie versus the Predator from the Predator movies. Archie, in a crossover with Marvel, Archie versus the Punisher. Like things like, this is an interesting mix that they're doing. And just recently, about maybe 3 or so years ago, they rebooted the Archie line to reflect a more modern age, which I could see this show taking a inspiration from this new rebooted line a little bit more. And all of these things have been critically acclaimed, that people, both with fans and with critics, and they're like, yeah, this is great, they're doing this, then, this, and this. So here comes this show, created and produced by the same person who's behind all the Archie comics, and the same fans who loved that stuff hated the idea of what they're doing with the new show. That
Sure.
makes no sense to me. Absolutely no sense. I would figure you would want something a little bit different, or it's a new take. I mean, it's a perfectly valid take. So they added a murder in the show. It gives it a little flavor. It kind of sets it apart.
Mm-hmm.
If you did the exact thing from the comics, it would be milquetoast. It would be it would be dull. It really wouldn't last. You need something propelling these characters forward, and having each episode with Archie unable to decide between Betty and Veronica without any overall character development, that's going to go nowhere fast.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
No.
I think,
Yeah.
and I think something that works for one medium, and can be a little bit less exciting and dark and whatever. People probably read a lot of the Archie comics as like a comfort food, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate to television.
Right. The only thing I could see them having a legitimate concern about, quote unquote, breaking canon is having Miss Grundy be a 25-year-old hottie that Archie sleeps with. when in the comics she's like a
Yeah,
spinster.
that was weird and gross. And
Did
it
they
definitely.
actually state that they slept together?
Oh yeah, I
Or
think so. Yeah, that was definitely something they put in. So my feeling, especially rewatching the first 4 episodes, because she leaves at the end of the fourth episode. So
which surprised me. I thought that story arc was going to last longer.
right, and I think that's what happened. I think they, somebody wrote it and they were like, "Oh my god, it's going to be so sexy. He's going to be banging his teacher, just like I always wanted to bang my teacher." And then everybody was, no, I didn't. God, no. But everybody, so someone in the writing room, or the writing room in general, was like, this would be so hot. And then what actually happened was they put it on TV and a bunch of people were like, oh my god, that's like disgusting. Like, don't do that to children. Why are we glorifying that in media? And like, yuck, and not even that you can't have that storyline, but it's weird that the storyline doesn't ever seem to call out that it's predatory behavior until like the fourth episode when Betty is finally like, she's taking advantage of you or whatever, which is how we view, teenager / adult sex in America. Or at least how we should. So I definitely get the feeling that they were going to make it a longer plot line, and then suddenly everybody was like, this is gross. And then they were like, oh, okay, I guess we'll just wrap it up then.
Did a heel turn. I wonder if they'll bring her back, because I feel they kind of left it somewhat open for that.
They did. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, part of me is like, no, they realized their mistake. They're never going to bring it back because they just don't want to deal with the fact that they, kind of miscalculated what people were going to enjoy for this show. And then part of me is like, yeah, but at the same time, it did seem like they were setting that up. That, actually, now, we know that she's not really Miss Grundy and, whatever. And so we're going to, we want to bring her back on because she's somehow involved in, whatever crazy murder plots are going on. And, so it will be interesting.
I could see them, depending on how, because they kind of still painted her in a sympathetic light. Although you don't know if her story that she tells is the truth or not.
Exactly.
So they can go any direction. I could see her coming back pregnant and saying, like, Archie, it's your kid. But she's trying to get money out of them or something.
That would be interesting. I thought it was, one thing I think they did kind of get right when they were writing her off the show, which I don't remember noticing the first time, but on the rewatch I noticed that they kind of have her when she's putting all her stuff in her car to take off the next morning or whatever, and then she's like getting in the car and she's like checking out some young guys running by. Yes. Right. And I was like, okay, good. So at least we're not trying to act as if this was like, oh no, this was the love of her life, and if not for laws, this all would have worked out. I thought that was a really interesting touch. I did miss that the first time, so I was glad they included that at least.
It is interesting, and I don't know if I blame the writing as this being a good thing or a bad thing, but it is interesting that they, she was trying to push Archie away. Like, no, this is wrong. We can't do this. We can't do this. We can't do this. But then the last thing you see, she's still checking out young boys. So it's kind of like, well, did she want to get away, or is she just getting away because she doesn't want with the whole murder thing, or it's a lot of things they can do with should they choose to revisit that at a future date.
Right. So anyway, so give me some season 2 predictions. Is there anything you're looking forward to? What do you think happened to Fred? What do you think? I think they've dropped a lot of hints that Veronica's dad is going to come into the picture soon. What do you think he's going to be like?
They are bringing Veronica's dad in.
Sure.
They cast it. They did cast him.
Okay.
I don't know who the actor is.
Okay.
So they are bringing him in. I think Fred will be fine. I don't think they're going to kill him off because A, it's Luke Perry, and
sure.
B, that you're no way you're going to get Molly Ringwald. Well, she's done it before, but I would be surprised if you get Molly Ringwald as a main cast member, because they're not going to make Archie an orphan.
Right.
Jughead will be back with the school within a matter of episodes. We'll get back to the status quo before long. The mystery of who shot him, I think there's going to be a lot of shade tossed at Veronica's dad. Because of the supposed the rivalry and the hookup that he and the mother had. But I'm thinking it's going to be someone else. Probably someone who won't be introduced until season 2. But they'll have 2 people they'll introduce. And one will be a red herring, and the other one will be the real one. So I think there's going to be 3 primary suspects on who shot Fred.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see where that goes. I think by the end of the season, Archie will swap out Veronica with Betty because, of course, that's going to happen. Which would be interesting to see how Betty and Jughead's relationship falls apart, which probably have to do with him joining the Serpents, the biker gang, because she did not seem happy about that.
And who would be?
Yeah. Yes, that's true. I see something. I see romance for Betty's mom, but I don't know with who.
Well, not Hal, probably.
She's going to start to find romance with someone else. I don't know who it will be. For an about face, it'd be interesting if it's Jughead's dad, but I think that would be a very strange about face. I do think Betty's brother, who they hinted at, will become a focal point of the season.
Absolutely, especially if it turns out to somehow be involved in murders.
Yes.
Which,
I think,
frankly, everyone seems to be.
I think it will be a huge leap if he is somehow connected to the shooting of Fred Andrews, but because I just suggested that, of course that's going to happen. Like maybe he was the actual shooter. He was hired by someone. I don't know. Maybe not.
Right. But it could be anything. Like nothing would be crazier than they could possibly come up with.
Okay. I got it. So Betty finds her brother early on, and they have the reuniting and all that. And as the season goes on, Veronica and Archie will break up. And at the same time, that's how Betty and Archie will get closer, because Fred's dad is sick, and she's known Mr. Andrews all her life. It's almost like a second father to her in some ways. So they get closer with that. But then Veronica is going to hook up with Betty's brother. And that's going to cause all sorts of tension between friends for a lot of different reasons.
No, agreed. That would be amazing. And I would believe it, because right now Veronica is dating Archie, and I think Archie is too dumb for her. I do. Just based on seeing him talk. One of my favorite through lines through the episodes was anytime people would make like, because like all teenagers in a teen soap opera, going back to Dawson's Creek, and I'm sure earlier shows, they do a lot of references to things, where you're like, okay, teenagers, would you really be referencing like Truman Capote and like, like...
Yeah, Veronica does that a lot.
Right. And, but then anytime somebody would make those kind of, one of Veronica's first lines to Archie is something about, I'm more breakfast in Tiffany's than in cold blood. And Archie laughs, and then Betty looks across the table like, you don't know what you're laughing about. And it's the most amazing thing. And like throughout the season, every time people would, make references to just about anything, Archie would either laugh or like not really get it. And it gave me life.
Archie is kind of dumb, that is for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, my final prediction for season 2. The shooter was hired by Archie's mom.
Ooh, I like it.
I have no reason to back that up other than that it's the craziest thing the show can come up with.
And, she is a lawyer, so she's got the money.
That's true.
Yeah.
So.
No, I like it. And Molly Ringwald, I think she tends to play characters that you want to root for, and how much greater would it be if she was also trying to murder people?
Right, it would be such an about-face, but there's risk in that, because no one would expect Molly Ringwald to be the bad guy, and that might rub some people the wrong way. I don't know, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. I don't know if I have anything else to really say about Riverdale.
It's great, and you love it.
Well, besides that.
Sure. No, I have to say, I was expecting you to tear it to shreds. The fact that you not only liked it, but had some enthusiasm for it was pretty delightful. So this was a fun surprise.
This is a type of show that knows exactly what it is. It doesn't try to pretend that it's some high-end drama that's going to change lives. No, it's trashy TV. It knows it is, and it's taking that ball and running with it. And the cast is fun, and that makes for an entertaining television show.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I have some trivia for tonight.
Oh, fantastic.
It's trivia time.
So, something else that the fans got angry about was the whole Jughead and Betty romance. And even though I guess in the comics that idea has been floated around in the past, so it's not like the writers are just coming out of thin air with it. But in the comics, within the last couple of years or so, always because Jughead's never really been interested in romance. But the last couple of years, they kind of made it more overt, and they sort of acknowledged that Jughead is asexual in the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
And with him being in a relationship with Betty, he's not asexual in the show, or at least not yet. Or they're not. They're waiting to bring that up, if they bring it up at all. So the internet went berserk and said that how dare they're not giving representation to people who are asexual.
Sure.
Like, okay, that's something, but Jughead's been depicted many different ways. Maybe they'll bring that plot line up in the future. Knows. No, I just thought that was a fun fact that Jughead is asexual in the comics.
Yeah, no, I think that is interesting. At the same time, when I watch my soapy teenage drama, not that I don't want everyone to feel represented on TV, but at the same time, I do want to believe that any of the characters could bang at any moment. Like that's part of soap opera for me, Mm-hmm. So no, I do think I had heard that he is asexual in the comics, and based on obviously the limited amount of comics I read as a kid, that would make sense, because I don't recall him ever caring about going to the dance with anyone, or while Reggie and Archie are fighting over Betty and Veronica, that did not ever. I don't think Jughead ever did. So I think that's interesting. But selfishly, I'm glad that they are not following that, or not following it yet, or what have you, in the TV show.
Also in the comics, I guess. Oh, I can't think of her name. Ethel. Ethel has the biggest crush on Jughead, which they didn't do much with that at all this season. But I did appreciate the Stranger Things reference they threw into the show.
Yeah, justice for Ethel.
Mm-hmm. It's like I watched that, I'm like, I see what you're doing, show. Very clever.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
No. Right. So good times. All right. So I think we want to wrap it up.
Yes. So it's been fun talking about Riverdale, and thank you all for listening. We'll be back next week with something, maybe. Yeah, I'm Nick.
I'm Jen.
And this is the all-new Culture Cast. We'll catch you next time. You've been listening to the all-new Culture Cast, one of Chicagoland's finest podcasts.
You're making me fall asleep to death.
Well, I guess there's not much we can do about that. In the meantime, check out our blog at znculturecast.wordpress.com. Send us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback, comments, and requests. Follow us on social media. Theme music by bensound.com. This has been a Saltwater production. Copyright 2017. Thanks for listening. Apparently I locked the cat in the closet.
Oh my god. Nick, why would you do that?
It was an accident. She runs in there so quickly.
It's really funny. I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but animals are dumb sometimes.